Hello everyone, Burb here. It's the third recording of the day. I am rather tired, but I still need to get out this Page Chaser post 7.1 patch update for CM16. I'll be doing this in Delta format, meaning I'll be emphasizing the changes and glossing over some of the things that have remained the same. If you need a full guide for Page Chasers, the original Page Chaser video is the stuff for you. That'll go into everything we theoretically thought about 7.1 in the 7.1 patch and what it would do. Now I have data and kind of how the Unity Cup 2.0 scenario is going to work. So that is what I'm trying to share with you today. I struggled with structuring this video because the 7.1 changes have kind of made everything all crazy. And a lot of YouTubers and commenters and people in my Discord, we have all started aligning ourselves towards Leo Cup now that we've started figuring out the scenario. And before I begin, I want to emphasize that I am just a singular person. I have my own opinions on the way that I personally play the game. Other people do the same. Other YouTubers do the same. And what you should be doing is you should be taking my perspective, you should be taking their perspective, and all the knowledge that we're imparting upon you, use that to form your own opinion. I've always said this, that is critical thinking. That is what I really am trying to do. What I will also say is we are in a situation which is really weird because we haven't had this yet. JP's never had a Champions meeting that was in the 2.0 Unity update. When they got this, they had a scenario that was better for it. So we've never seen a CM done in Unity 2.0. And Unity 2.0 is rather powerful. No one is 100% certain. There is no hindsight. We haven't seen a sprint CM in Unity Cup pretty much ever in the new 2.0 update. And everyone's trying their best, but things most certainly have changed with Leo Cup. And the big thing is that I don't think you can just 100% rely on third, fourth place. I think you can steal enough wins with other forms of acceleration that you need to at least consider them. And that's really what I'll be going through today. This is going to be more conversational than you're used to for one of my CM guides. It'll get back to normal in the late surger, frontrunner, and closer guide, but because this is a re-up, it didn't really make sense for me to go top down. And so I will be kind of addressing, I think, what are the primary questions for this Champions meeting, and it kind of aligns with certain parts of the original video. So I'll be answering a question and then going and trying to give my backbone of what all the original, groundwork I had for all that stuff was. So, I talk about excels, I talk about the excels, and then I answer the question. I talk about guts build, I talk about the stats and self. So let's begin. The only thing that's really changed with Page Chasers, they are still the primary role, is that their win rate seems to be slightly decreasing in room matches. It's very slight. We are talking an above 90% win rate down to about a 79.2. Taking most of that share is the late surger position, but the counterpoint now is that you can't be boxed out from third or fourth place because head-on and neck can just proc from fifth place, which really matters because that's in a whole nother front runner or runaway that has to exist in order to box them out. And that simply is not going to really happen because you control 3 of the positions in the race itself. So if someone running triple front runner would block the third position, and now they do block the third position, but now fourth and fifth are open for the head-on, which isn't really necessarily a gamble because its worst proc timing is still basically a 0.2 for neck and neck or a 0.1 for head-on. Other than that, the only other thing that's really been really big is that late race matters a lot more because a lot more people are hitting. Third, fourth, and fifth place are hitting now. So you now have 2 Umas in the Page Chaser position that you are fighting, most likely, along with any late surgers that proc. And you need some late race to make sure that you are eventually faster than them. We'll go over these in sequence in a bit. I'll be starting with the deck building, which sounds a little bit weird, but that's really the first question. I suggested Throne, and I really like Throne, and I still do. I have said the caveat on is that you need to be able to saturate those skill points, but those skill points are really what are making your Uma quite good. Right now, in the situations that I've seen from people building high win rate Umas, they aren't using Throne just yet, but what I will say, we are seeing a shift towards higher SP bonus cards as the parents are quickly getting better and better and better with the parent update. What I did suggest in the original overview video is Daiwa Scarlet neck and neck because neck and neck is just incredibly powerful, and I still say neck and neck is incredibly powerful. And for late surges, I did on your left for Nice Nature Wit. While I stand by Nice Nature Wit, there is one thing I just kind of forgot, which is a kind of knock on Daiwa Scarlet power. Which kind of throws you back into Throne or some other speed card. It's that I forgot that Ig Power and Ignited Spirit Guts in Unity 2.0 are kind of just given to you. So you're going to have the option to grab Unity, the Unity accelerations, Ig Power and or Ig Guts. And this combined with the fact that NSM exists, although NSM is probably not what you want to get just because it's not really that reliable, is that you can kind of drum up enough accelerations without neck and neck. Now, neck and neck, if you have the card, it's really good. It's like extremely good. It basically makes it so that you can just proc neck and neck and then late proc even if you're in 5th place, and then you late proc into Nishino Flower Ultimate or Taiki Ultimate or both if you pass someone early enough. And that is just all the excel that you need with 2 separate skills. But you can just drum up a combination of Budding Blossom, Shooting for Victory, Nimble Nav, Ignited Spirit Power, Ignited Spirit Guts, Head On, and even Sprinting Gear or Turbo Sprint. And there's enough acceleration options in the game where you can very much not have to run Daiwa Scarlet Power. And I think I made it seem like it was too much of a must borrow. I still think it's a fine borrow, but there are just more options as well that you can go and decide. So after more testing, yes, I think with the Ignited, it makes it a little bit better just to possibly try for other things. But Head On, Neck and Neck is still an incredible, incredible skill for Pace Chasers that unlocks an entire additional position for them. The end goal for hitting Excel is about 0.6. More than that, you're going to start hitting diminishing returns, and you would be better to have late race or mid race at that point. And so you can see when you just grab like a shotgun of like 4 of these, basically, Budding Blossom, Shooting for Victory, and some Nimble Navigator plus Ig Power, or Head On, or even Turbo Sprint plus 2 of these, etc., etc., most times you're going to be hitting that 0.6. And that's where we're going to get into the accelerations that I said. Your primaries probably should still be Budding Blossom and Shooting for Victory. You can take both. You can take one. You probably need at least one of these. And now you can just grab Neck and Neck. The reason why I thought that Neck and Neck was quite good is because its worst proc is basically the same as Taiki, if not better. The same thing happens with Head On, basically 1.58 down to 1.0. It just becomes slightly worse. You can probably just take White Head On if it appears. You can try for it as well. Otherwise, the tertiary accelerations are exactly the same. Nimble Navigator's fine and given to you. If you're running Bakashin, Turbo Sprint's fine as well, and the Ig Powers you are grabbing as well. Notably, the Sprinting Gear changes makes it so it actually procs not on the straight, but at the start of the late race. And of course, Doto Alt exists, but no one's really grabbing a parent for Meisho Doto as well. Otherwise, the new Racing Spirit Guts is added to the Gambling Acceleration section from before. The fight for 3rd and 4th place is going to be tough, and mid-race is rather important, but remember that a lot of the mid-race can also cause you to wide swing as well. Not to say don't take mid-race, you need mid-race, and those mid-race are corner skills. The same thing, a lot of the stuff of the fight is actually going to happen in the early race. The only thing that I forgot in the previous video was Downhill Speedster technically is possibly a PDM break early. Otherwise, your Shrewd Steps can be fine, your Intimidates, your Straight Descents, all that stuff. Intimidates the least important out of all of them for a Pace Chaser because you have to be in the front of the pack in order for it to happen, because it's not going to affect anybody who is in front of you, who are the people you are trying to pass, essentially. Otherwise, mid-race velocity is all great. Nothing Ventured is also now on the Nakayama Festa Wit card. Otherwise, Pro Curve's great. In High Spirits and the Bakushin card's good. Your corner skills are incredible. Umastan, it still works as a card, as a skill rather, because you just have so many Pace Chasers. And Racing Spirit Speed and Ignited Spirit Speed both work, although Ignited Spirit Speed notably is less efficient than the other ones, and as the other speed skills. And Racing Spirit Speed is less powerful due to duration, but has a higher chance of speed carryover. One thing I forgot to mention with Umastan is with Nimble Nav is Nimble Nav, because there's so many Pace Chasers, it is actually procking a little more often, but it's not enough to grab No Stopping Me. Apologies for that, I did forget about that. Otherwise, final corner accels, the same problems with them occur. They are slightly risky. You still take them. Speed Star is good when it hits. When it misses, it's bad. Shadow Break and Blazing Pride and Ravissant, if you proc this too late, basically, it'll also be eaten by the acceleration zone. And if you proc it and you aren't able to complete the overtake, you will wide swing yourself as well. But you still should basically make a pass combo with some combination of It's On, which now the game just gives you, with Slipstream or some other type of primer. With the Shadow Break or Blazing Pride or Ravissant, there are plenty of different options that you can choose for that, which are the on-pass skills to complete the pass and reach the late race with possible speed carryover. And now, because everyone is hitting, like I said, everyone's hitting with some level of head-on or nimble navigator, even if they're not in the third or fourth position, you need some sort of late race to make sure that you're able to stop the people from going behind. If you're in third place, you're fighting someone in fourth place and now fifth place, and so you need something to close out the race. And you have the same stuff as before with IBAM, Pace Chaser Straights, Triumphant Pulse, Firm Course Menace, and the new Vaudeville is at the 300 meter mark, which is safe if you hit your 0.4, which you should be hitting your 0.6. The new Racing Spirit Stamina drains some stamina, but is rather powerful in duration, as well as Racing Spirit Power is just kind of near guaranteed late race speed, to be perfectly honest. All right, up next, the Bakushin Borrow. Bakushin is a fine card to borrow. If you want to borrow it, go right ahead, but I would consider it a utility card. The thing is that all the skills on Bakushin, except for in high spirits, can be found by making better parents or by using pretty much any Bakushin card. You can use Bakushin Power, you can go use Bakushin Speed, whatever you have on that, and you can use that as a utility card as well. And the Guts deck itself, you can run the Guts deck. 1, 2, 3 has been suggested. What I find is that this is incredibly difficult to get power. And power is now really good. I think on this track, you can't sacrifice power because now you are really trying to over excel people who are also hitting 0.4s, and also that late race speed from that 2.0x uphill is just so damaging if you do not have very high power. And this Guts deck, if things don't really travel, I mean, if you look really here, if you don't get a ton of Guts taps, you're not generating enough power. Now, if you have perfect power sparks, go right ahead. But remember, your sparks are going to determine your deck no matter what you do. You could also have wit sparks, and all of a sudden you don't need 3 wit cards. You could have a ton of speed sparks, and you may not even need a speed card, or you may just want to undercap. But now, because you have overcapping stats, you can just go and run power cards, and you're going to generate more power than anything else. And yes, you lose some of the stamina, but it's usually just fine. But decks are very flexible in this Sprint CM. What I've been seeing from a lot of the high win rate Umas is that the Guts deck has mostly been done on the Taiki Shuttle and Nishino Flower, and it kind of makes sense because they have 0.4 accelerations in their kits, so they really only got to focus on those mid-race and late race speed skills. So what they do is they grab that Bakushin, and they grab in high spirits, and they grab all the various different sprint skills that they grab, and then they just let all the accelerations go to the wayside. Once you get down into pretty much any other character, including the ones that are late race, you start finding that they start running the speed wit with solo power deck. And the reason why I think so is that they're really trying to go and hit their accelerations, and once they hit their accelerations, they want more speed and more power in order to go and close out that late race. I keep seeing this Marvelous Sunday card be picked. Again, Daiwa Scarlet works as well. It's not as strong of a power card as I am finding out, but this 2 speed 3 wit 1 power deck seems to just keep popping up in pretty much every single room match that I see that is winning, honestly. At the end of the day, you really have 3 slots open. I said we had 2 before, but you don't need to run Throne. You can run other cards. Depending on your bonuses of the character you're using and your sparks, you're going to find that you have 3 slots. You can go and run this with 3 Guts cards if you want. You can run 2 Guts cards and a Wit card. You can run double power. You can run a PAL card and a Speed card and a Wit card. You can run anything that you particularly feel like is able to get your max speed stamina, or max speed, power, and wit. That is my final opinion on this whole deck building thing. There's so much stuff that seems to work in sprints, and grab the stuff that is able to get you the skills that you need, supplement the skills that your parents can't grab, I guess, and then go from there. Whether that be this, whether it be El Condorpasa speed, whether that be Bakushin guts. The stat requirements have not changed, and like I said, you can't really sack power too much in my personal opinion. Again, these are stats to aim for. Try to max your speed. Obviously, try to get your other stats first better, but over 1200 speed does help. Power does help, even above 1200, and wit, I think over 1200 to 1300, it gets hit with diminishing returns quite a bit after 1300. After that, try to get a little bit of guts, and you're perfectly fine. I think the guts build, you shouldn't really try to get max. I know it adds a ton of rating, but I think you're better off just grabbing more power at that point. The cards haven't changed too much. The speed cards are all the same. There's just so many options that give you so many good things. The power cards are the same as well. For speed cards, sorry, things like even like Seeking the Pearl speed, Bakushin speed, even I guess NTR doesn't have the training effectiveness as much now, but you're still racing a little bit, and you get Firm Course Metis, which is a skill that is, it gives you late race speed, but probably less priority now. Kidus in Black is incredible, of course. Your power cards, Daisuke, will give you neck and neck. Yaina Mateki lowers in value as well, but that Marvi card with the tail held high is what I keep seeing people run. For guts cards, main one's going to be Bakushin. For wit cards, Fine Motion gives Speed Star on an Agama Sen, and then you run the best wit card that you can at that point. Notably, Curran-chan Wit keeps appearing in a lot of decks because you can kill his chain early for PTO, and then basically it allows the rest of your deck to finish his chains, and it gives you a few extra sprint skills for your leisure. Otherwise, you can run Throne. It does give Pace Chaser straightaways on a random event, and Anshinzawa has kind of been taken up by Nakayama Festa Wit. Your event SSR cards, the two major additions to this, first of all, there's just so many speed cards, power cards, and wit cards that actually give you good skills, whereas the free-to-play guts cards don't really give you too much, but Curran-chan speed, El Condorpasa speed, even Shinko Windy speed, they're really good with what it is. Remember, I'll talk about it later, but remember that, yep, there it is. Sweep Tosho speed gives you the SP bonus, and it's probably above all of these just because of that reason. Otherwise, for power, you can grab the Head-on Agima-san on Special Week, or just grab Marvi Power, as well as Nishino Flower Power. Race bonus is still perfectly fine in this Champions meeting. The big additions for Wint are Fukukitaru is probably the best wit card for free-to-plays, and I would even say in general it's up there because right-handed is really good, and it has really good output and scenario link. Rice Shower Wit, I did forget about this. It does have straight descent, Pace Chaser corner, and is scenario link, so its output is not horrible. It's like behind by one wit, but the scenario link kind of goes and makes it it kind of evens itself out a little bit. And this is why I've been like kind of chilling the speed power wit deck, is that like realistically, unless you have 6 SSR cards, which some of them are guts, most of your skills that you're grabbing are going to be from these cards or on parents. So if you're not going to build parents and you need skills on your cards, you probably are at least running a couple speed, power, and wit cards in general. Again, like I said in the previous video, Sweep Tosho is the best speed card because of the +1 SP bonus, in my personal opinion. For Pace Chasers, the best speed card is El Condorpasa Speed, if you have a high LB copy. Otherwise, just take this for Slipstream. Bakushin Power has a bunch of sprint skills if you need it. Otherwise, like I said, the same power cards that I mentioned, and Fukukitaru for the wit for your free-to-play cards. If you're thinking that you need to be running Track Blazer because you're not getting enough skills, just take this into account that pretty much every high win rate room match at the top is now been changed to Unity Cup 2.0 Umas. Yesterday, it was about 50-50. Half of them were Track Blazer, the other half were Unity Cup 2.0. Now it's basically all Unity Cup 2.0. That 1300 speed is really what's getting them, as well as the parents are now catching up really quickly to give you enough skills to go and saturate the extra skill points that you do. If you think that you do not get enough skill points from Trackblazer, run more SP bonus cards, make better parents, and run more relevant cards for your role. Those really are the three things that are hamstringing people to think they have to run Trackblazer. You can get easily 3,000 skill points, 2,900 skill points in Unity Cup 2.0 without much thought if you just run a SP bonus card or two and you actually train on basically the same training. So try to stack your speed, try to stack your wit itself. Room matches are not 100% representative. If you build a Trackblazer Uma, it still will probably beat quite a few Umas that are not built properly, and that is honestly 90% of the actual champions meeting is non-ideal Umas, and so Trackblazer ones can probably win. I just don't know how effective they're going to be because you can kind of just get 1300 speed and 1300 power and hidden excel, and you're usually getting pretty close to beating a Trackblazer Uma, in my opinion. All right, characters. I'm gonna grab a drink. Sorry, been a long day, so voice is dying. For characters, like I said before, Nishino Flower and Taiki Shuttle were the two primary ones because they give 0.4 acceleration for it. Like I said in the video before, once the 7-1 change hits, and there's just a lot more accelerations in the game, and I didn't think it was in the form of Ig Power, Ig Guts, and Sprinting Gear, and all the other ones. I thought it was going to be in the form of Neck and Neck. Taiki Shuttle Camping has just absolutely taken over. This character is insane with built-in Neck and Neck, and basically a better than Tri-Pulse in the situations where you're winning, and she wins quite a bit because of that. If you have this character, you basically just throw everything except Taiki ult on her. You just grab Neck and Neck plus Nishino. It's perfectly fine. You can grab Nimble Navigator to supplement if you really want to, and then you just go and do late race or mid race. Ogre Cap is basically taking the other share of the wins because Triumph and Pulse is simply that good. She just does not give you as much. People seem to be skipping on Corner Connoisseur in lieu of better skills like Head-On or Neck and Neck, as well as the two Inherits as well. Current-Gen Wedding's not too far behind. Now that we don't have to worry about medium G, Wedding Current-Gen's actually quite powerful because one true color is slightly delayed, and basically you hit any excel, any singular excel, and then you go into one true color, and that's it. That's all you really need. She also has Turbo Sprint in kit, as well as Intimidate White, which you can grab in the early race. So everything's kind of built into this character. If you hit anything fourth or better, you are basically winning the game at that point because you just have a crazy, basically 0.7 excel chance built into kit, and basically you just grab like a Taiki and Nishino and you're perfectly fine. Air Groove Wedding is actually doing quite good because Eternal Moments, like I was saying, is basically prepping a pass that causes stuff like Shadow Break and other pass ultimates to proc and speed carry over. That's really carrying her wins. She's able to fight for the mid race, hit that third and fourth place, hit that Nishino Flower ult and Taiki Shuttle ult, and go from there. Usually people are skipping Corner Con, but it is available as a gambling option. Fuji Kiseki Ballroom basically has the other half. You prime her ultimate, and all of a sudden Ravissant is speed carrying over a 0.45, so now your acceleration burden is so low. You have right-handed in kit and head-on, so basically you and Speedstar, holy moly, this character, and Shrewd Step, this character has everything that you need in it. You basically just go, you pick the stuff in the kit, and throw Nishino, throw a Taiki ultimate, same thing. Sakura Bakushino is your free-to-play, and this character has been doing rather well because of the 20 speed, 10 wit. Doesn't give too much, but having Turbo Sprint in kit is basically, you can consider it like a budget neck and neck. You can just grab Turbo Sprint and the two Inherits and be perfectly fine, or you can grab this plus Nimble Navigator to give you two alternative win conditions that can have you late proc the Nishino Flower ultimate to go and get this. With all these characters, you need some late race to basically close it out if there is not in kit, but Genius X Bakushini kills victory, despite being usually rather finicky because there's literally 4 or 5 pace chasers every single lobby at the moment. You're going to get side blocked at some point, and Genius X Bakushini X Victory is just bonus speed on that final corner or second half of the race. Mayano Top Gun Wedding is a fascinating character. And this was kind of one of the reasons why I want to make this video. With so many pace chasers in lobby, it's kind of funny because if she lags behind as well and passes somebody somehow, I know it's somehow, it's weird, but she actually gets the 0.4 excel. in like front and pace heavy lobbies. Now, if she's normal and good, it's just a final corner target speed increase that you prime like normal, and basically it's on into flowery maneuver, massive speed carryover, and win the game. And of course, I think this is like mile D or mile D, sprint D. But True Step and Kit and Corner Depth is actually making it so she is winning quite often. There's a couple other characters. None of these really have changed. Air Groove, Mayono Top Gun, Hishi Akebono, Fuji Kiseki with the changes. Fuji Kiseki is a little bit better now with her ultimate. She just doesn't give you anything in the kit to help her. King Halo probably is a late surger now, but really that hasn't really changed too much. So that is what I really wanted to get over today. The new stats are on the screen. These are, of course, these are ideal stats. If you don't hit exactly this, it's perfectly fine. Try to get your primary cells with Shooting for Victory, Budding Blossom, Head On, Nimble Navigator, Neck and Neck, Egg Power, Egg Guts. Get some combination that you think is going to go and proc 0.6. After that, get your mid-race speed, get your late-race speed. I still think Sprint S is slightly better, but even if you have Turf S, I think you're going to find some success after that. Speed is better than power, which is equal to wit, which is greater than guts, as per usual. With that, that's the redux for it. I'll try to get the late surge and front runner guides up. I know I've been rather tired. This was supposed to be a quick update, and I've been kind of all over the place. Like I said, it was a little more conversational than usual. It was just with 3 videos. It's been tough, guys, I will admit. So I will get a lot of rest tonight. Do not worry. I will see what I am doing tomorrow. I may even take a day off. I know if Cygames decides to not drop a bombshell. But thank you everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, let me know. But for those who support me financially a little bit, like I said, this is just a little side job at this point. But for you members that are in the board tier, I do read out your names on the overview video, and I've been doing it for the roll guides because there is not too many of you that I can't handle it right now. So appreciate you all, but especially in the board tier, thank you to KikuZIRL, Immobility, Mr. Merritt, Cresta Gautier, Lucifel, Oguri Cat Pizza Burger, Peter Van San, Oscar Van Bruce, Miss Just Sage, CD Ogren, Sorcerer, Elise Bright, Trevor Overtone, Dalagante, Etep Pete, Astrosarian, Eva Delta, Tokateo, Monarch, Scraps, Efflorescence, It's Bella Knox, Curlicious, Gal Spur, Howie Tori, Boss Corgi, Zinni TF, and Dark Wabbits. Sorry about that. Yep, I'm going to bed. Take care, everyone. Burb out.